This week, guys, I'm checking out over on my Nintendo Switch Life is Strange 2 from Don't Not Entertainment. This game was originally released episodically from about September 2018 all the way till about December 2019 upon its original release over on PS4 and Xbox One. We never got it on the Nintendo Switch till recently, so we finally got it here over on Nintendo, and guess what? I'm checking it out, and let me tell you, I was pleasantly surprised right from the get-go. I mean, I've played this game before, I've played through all 5 episodes, and honestly, I really enjoyed the story. It was very enthralling. The characters, the development, everything really kind of pulls you into this one. So I was curious to know what that experience was going to be like over on the Nintendo Switch, because really when you're playing this game, it's not about the action necessarily. It's all about the story and the character building.
I said matchmaker, not miracle worker.
Hey, hold on. Let me check it before you send.
Too late.
Would be awesome to see you there.
So for anybody unfamiliar with the story of Life is Strange 2, we follow Hispanic brothers Daniel and Sean as they travel down the west coast of the United States in search of refuge from an unfortunate situation that they were put into. Without giving away too much, there's some tragic things that happen early in this game that cause Daniel and Sean to kind of head out on the run as fugitives away from the police, and we kind of pick up the story of their adventure and their travels south of their hometown in Washington. And well, let me tell you, this one kind of gets really interesting. I mean, I don't want to give away too much of the story here, but this is what this game's about. You follow these two characters and their interactions with other characters in the game, and you really learn about the story and the relationship these two brothers have. And that was the thing that drew me into this game originally when I first played it back on my Xbox, is that I really enjoyed the story here. And that doesn't change over on the Nintendo Switch. Mind you, there's definitely some mature themes and subjects here, so this game isn't necessarily for children, but it is definitely a game enjoyed by all. It's for anybody, whether you're into, first-person shooters all the way back to adventure games and anything kind of like that. I mean, there's something here for everyone, but if you're into a good story, this game is gonna hook you right away. And that is kind of, Don't Nod's biggest take here, is that you are gonna get a game that has a great story about great characters that just, is like a good book that you just can't put down. All those good things aside, there are some drawbacks with it being on the Nintendo Switch. I mean, I feel like every time we do a Nintendo Switch review, especially recently, we kind of, kick a little bit of dirt on the Nintendo, saying that, it maybe graphically it isn't quite there, especially for some of the newer titles. Well, this isn't necessarily a new game. It's new to the Switch platform, but it isn't a new game by any stretch. We're not dealing with any kind of ridiculous graphics. I mean, the original game graphically looked really good, but again, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect because you're really in it for the story and you don't really notice the graphics as much. So I was actually able to enjoy this game on the Switch, both docked and in the handheld mode. I thought personally the docked mode was just for me because I played it on the computer, so I kind of like the larger screen. I think it also plays very well on a big screen TV if you want to play it in the living room, but I have no issue here playing in handheld either, which I wasn't entirely sure if I was going to enjoy my experience with the handheld, but I really did. I thought, as far as being able to search and find things in the game, the small screen playing handheld really didn't hinder me at all. It was just another enjoyable way to kind of walk around and play this game. Now, if I had to complain about anything with my experience with Life is Strange 2 so far on the Nintendo Switch, is the graphics. I know we just kind of got off of talking about how the Nintendo Switch is older and it kind of holds up, but graphically there are some things I did notice, especially during some of the cutscenes. You really notice a lot of the kind of environment around our characters. I noticed pop in and out a lot as far as it kind of rendering on screen and then disappearing and then rendering, especially when they're in the woods early game. You do tend to notice that the environment around them, as nice as it looks, if you really kind of look at it, you start to notice, some of the flat textures and flat surfaces out there. But if I had to score this one out of 10, honestly, graphics aside, I had a great time playing through this. This is an awesome story. It's like picking up a book I've read before and reading it again and, noticing some new things I didn't notice the first time through. So it was an enjoyable experience, to say the least. If you've never played Life is Strange 2 and you have a Nintendo Switch, it's probably worth checking out. If I've got to give this one a score out of 10, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. This is a great story with great characters. I think Daniel and Sean are two characters that you're really going to kind of relate to and understand and want to kind of see their story all the way through. So if you've got a Nintendo Switch and you want to pick up a great game, check out Life is Strange 2.